Stat magazines are no strangers inside of Bethesda games, and I want to focus on the peak performance magazines because much like Crick's journals, they are some of the best magazines you can get while playing this game. So I'm going to quickly show you all 5 of these different locations. Let's get into it. Now, thankfully, the very first Peak magazine is not too hard to find. All you have to do is make your way to the Eye, right next to Alpha Centauri, where you usually talk to Vladimir around the main storyline. So, eventually, as you play through this game, you're going to come across this location. Once you actually get to the Eye, make sure you follow the pathing that I'm showing you here. Go into the facilities FO1 section, which is the right side, and go to the training room, which is where you're going to find the very first magazine on this kind of makeshift bench. Now, this magazine in particular is very helpful for those that like to use chems before fighting or interacting with people. Pharmaceuticals are permanently 2% less addictive, which again is super helpful. If you didn't know, you can become addicted to the different drugs you take in this game, so just a little FYI there. Now, peak performance number 2 is going to be by far your hardest one to find because you have to find a deserted UC listening post, which is a random encounter that you find on random planets. For me, I found it on Pluto's moon in the Sol system called Charon, Charon. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but whenever you do finally find this, follow the pathing that I'm showing you here because you will be coming across a bunch of different hallways, a bunch of different rooms, and a bunch of different pirates, so keep that in mind. Now for me, I was still part of the Crimson Fleet when I came in here, so that made searching around this area that much easier for me, but you want to make your way into one of these administrative rooms as I'm showing you with this pathing, and for me, I actually picked it up beforehand. It's right next to where this monitor should be. This particular magazine helps you unlock skills in the basic and advanced physical skill tree that much faster, which is super helpful if you're speccing into it later on in the game. Now, Peak Performance Magazine number 3, you can find at Reliant Medical Organics Labs. Now, these I do believe are somewhat more regular to be found, but I've found mine in the Beta Turnion 1 system or the Beta Turnion system. I'm going to show you very quickly where you can find this, and it's going to be on the major planet, not a different moon. You're going to find it in one of the groupings of the 2 different star systems as I'm showing you here, and it's not too far from the Crick system, so hopefully this will help you guys find out where this actual location is, as I know a lot of these farther star systems are not all that easy to find. Now, once you actually get into this location, you're going to find that the power is off, and you have to make your way through the entire system to get into the actual power box, which I'm going to show you here with my pistol. There's a lot of different twists and turns in here, a lot of different higher end enemies, but once you finally turn on the power and open up this room, you can get a bunch of good loot inside of there, and as well as the Peak Performance Magazine number 3. Now, this permanently adds 5% to melee weapon critical damage, which if you're like me towards the end of the game, you usually go towards more of the melee weapons just to add a little more fun to it, so this is a great one to pick up. And thankfully, Peak Performance number 4 is found in a very solid location at Sunny DeFalco's Island in the Maheo 1 system, the Maheo star system on Maheo 1. As you can probably see here, this actual location is not too hard to find, but you may overlook it because it's right beneath the Cheyenne star system. So keep that in mind if you're looking for it. It's right underneath the Cheyenne star system. Now, once you're inside, you're going to have a lot of space to explore. There's going to be a lot of closed doors behind computers, but what I want you to do is follow the exact pathing that I'm showing you here, past all the Crimson Fleet into these particular vents, because this place is a little bit of a maze because it's a huge mansion and there's a lot of stuff going on inside of here, especially if you're not part of the Crimson Fleet. What I want you to do is pick up as much Aurora along the way as well, because he had a massive party here, but you'll find our buddy Sony DeFalco dead in the master bedroom, but I want you to go next to the poles inside of the room as well. This is where you'll find Peak Performance Magazine number 4. Now, this actual Peak Performance is probably one of the better ones because it permanently adds 5% to unarmed damage, which, like I mentioned on the previous one, I usually go more melee towards the end of my playthroughs just to make it that much more fun. But make sure you fully explore this mansion as well. There's a lot of good stuff here. And finally, Peak Performance number 5 is in a very solid location that you will always be able to find as long as you're part of the Crimson Fleet. You want to make your way over to the key, which is inside of the Crick system. Now again, if you don't know where the Crick system is, I'm going to show you really quickly. It's not too far from the Cheyenne system and just a little farther away from the Alpha Centauri system, but it's a pretty normal and pretty standard location that you'll go to a lot in your playthrough. Once you actually do get inside here and are part of the Crimson Fleet, I want you to actually make your way over to the gym. Again, ironic, I know, where you're going to see a bunch of people working out potentially, but on the table next to a bunch of dumbbells is where you'll find Peak Performance number 5. Now, if you're going to grab any of these magazines, I completely suggest that you need to get Peak Performance number 5 because it permanently increases your carrying capacity by 5 kilograms, which I always enjoy because it's an actual amount of weight, not a percentage of the carrying weight you already have. So a must get in my opinion. And there you have it, guys, all peak performance locations inside of Starfield. Now, if I did miss one somehow, please let me know down in the comments and I could recover this video with that additional peak performance magazine on there. Now, if you enjoyed this location guide, let me know by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.